mildewed from the damp of the boathouse where they were stored. Since the cabin was a long way from the nearest community, indeed a long way from the nearest neighbour, the skies were wonderfully starry in winter. As a teenager, I once made a bed of spruce branches out on the ice for me and my friend Nina, then dug out some wartime-era sleeping bags from the shed and organised an outdoor sleepover so we could look at the stars. 40 years later, my clearest memory of that night is not the Milky Way, but the strange, crackling, dry object my bare feet encountered at the bottom of my sleeping bag, an object that proved on further investigation by the light of my torch to be a mouse nest full of dead and mummified pups. Sometimes people ask why I'm so keen on writing about insects and other seemingly insignificant creatures with PR problems, whether I'm one of those people who collected bugs as a child. I'm not, but I was lucky enough to grow up in a family that spent a lot of time outdoors as a matter of course, and was interested in the stories and language that describe the relationship between us and nature, past and present. And a family that allowed me to be curious and tried to answer my never-ending questions about how everything fitted together. Curiosity and a capacity for wonderment are also important to me as a scientist. Since I am a professor of conservation biology, the science that studies threats to biological diversity and ways of dealing with them, I've wondered a lot about how to get people to appreciate the natural world around us so that we'll all want to take care of it too. This book is my attempt at an answer. I want to show you all the things that the wonderful natural world does so that you can see what's at stake. And I want to point out the paradox in our creative relationship with nature. We have made use of it, but our ability to exploit the benefits of nature also risks undermining the very foundations of our own existence. Introduction: A Hornless Rhino. Some years back, I attended a science conference in Dublin. In between lectures about pollination and malaria mosquitoes, I took time out to visit the city's Natural History Museum, the National Museum of Ireland. I love museums, and this one was especially interesting. Cases containing insects collected by Darwin himself. The skeleton of a giant red deer, its antlers broader than I am tall, a melancholy monument to an extinct species. An exhibition containing several hundred astonishingly delicate glass models of marine invertebrates created in the 1800s by German glass artists, the Blaschkes. The glass figures were made as teaching aids because it was difficult to display these sea creatures in any other way. Sea anemones and soft corals tended to end up as shapeless, colourless lumps in the bottom of a jar of formalin. Several thousand of these elegant artworks were sold to museums, universities and schools throughout the world, and those that have survived are quite a sight. But what really sent shivers down my spine was a stuffed rhinoceros. A rhinoceros without horns. In the place where the horns should have been, there were just 2 holes in its dark skin, which allowed me to see straight through into the rough yellowish-white cotton canvas beneath. Beside the mutilated animal was a plaque. The museum apologised for the appearance of the rhinoceros and explained that the horns had been removed owing to the risk of theft. This is because of the utterly false belief that powdered rhino horn has medicinal properties, a belief that remains widespread, despite the fact that the horn is made of keratin, the same substance that forms your fingernails. The horn...